bearing.
Kogo ceramic beam.
If Hamini watches this, he's gonna roast you, man.
Hi Hamidi.
He will tell you ceramic bearings is a waste of money.
There are some guys who didn't take it very nicely when I said it's basically a Chinelli.
Because the fact that it looks like a Chinelli, is it?
It looks like it's the same factory, same carbon layout, same mold.
But cheaper.
And Chinelli buys from the same factory anyways.
Right.
And gives it a paint job and sells it for $8,000. That's about it, I guess. Oh,
Yeah.
Freehub sound check.
Yeah, we'll do the Freehub sound check. Last chance, man, to...
Oh, fuck me.
Why?
I just got shat on. No! I think that's about it. I gotta go watch my
So we talked about the weight. What is price? Sorry, I think I mentioned it, but we didn't really say.
Okay, price. It may not
Your
look like
parents are
it.
not here, right? They don't know what's the price, right? I don't even know why I'm smiling under the mask. Is the camera rolling?
Yeah.
Okay, you ready? Okay lah, anyway it's rolling already, I'm just gonna start, man. Oh, Prem, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having
We are
me.
doing it in the back of your lawn. I was just telling you, in Singapore normally we always do it in a car park. So I'm here in Malaysia, the first episode in Malaysia. I came to Malaysia before, I've done a couple of shots now. We are here with Prem. Prem is I think you're one of my very first few subscribers.
I think I was number 46 if I remember correctly. It was before 50.
How do you even come across my videos, man? Like this
I
was
saw your SL6 video.
my own one?
Yeah,
Like the one I did?
because I was looking for an SL6, your first video.
Okay.
And then slowly I saw your Venge video when you first got your Venge, and then yeah,
Wow.
I just subscribed and continue watching.
That was damn long ago. So I think that SL6 video was back a year ago. I'm not sure if it's still on.
It's still on.
Yeah, it's still on. Thank you, man, for supporting me throughout this whole entire journey. So I thought that I was telling I think I posted a story or something that I was coming to Malaysia, and then you texted me, when are you finally going to film me?
Yeah.
So okay, we'll jump straight into it, man. So you have a Raceline hider. I've not heard of this bike. But maybe more about you. How long have you been cycling?
I've been cycling for 3 years, but I started seriously road cycling September last year.
Okay.
I started on mountain and fixed gear.
Right. Mountain biking.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Like, I really didn't know that. So what kind of mountain bikes were you riding?
China.
China mountain bike.
That's
So
all,
where do you go,
China
like Bukit
and-
Kiara?
No, more local hills towards Puchong side.
Okay, then you got into road biking.
Yeah.
How do you get into that?
I don't know.
What was the first road bike?
My first road bike was Els Quendi.
Oh. And how else at the time was not very popular, right?
No,
Okay.
not at all.
Okay, then you owned that Els Kwandi for some time.
Up until 4 months ago.
Okay, and then now you've got this bike. You also have a TT bike, right?
Yes, the Padas Gomera.
And you recently completed the Langkawi race,
Langkawi Legendary Ride, yes.
and you came in at the podium, right?
Podium third on this beautiful
Congrats,
bike.
man. Okay, and tell us more about this Raceline China bike.
So this is my 2020 Raceline Hider, and I got it at Da Vinci Cycle Hub. And it's a Chinese made bike, but the frame comes out of the same factory that the Chinelli Pressure did. So it's the same frame, same carbon layout, just different paint job.
What made you buy a Raceline? Is it because you ride with Da Vinci, so you know that they were selling this?
And I've tested it once or twice before, and it's really stiff compared to my previous bike.
But how do people tell that bikes are stiff? Like, I have no idea. Like, people say bike's stiff, but how do you actually tell that it's stiff or not?
So on my Els Quendi, I noticed, because I'm a sprinter, when I went off the saddle, I would notice my chainstay start to flex. So you would feel a loss of power, but now I don't really feel it.
Sorry, backtrack a bit, right? The last time I came back, we rode together with Zach, and we went to Bukit Tungku.
I don't know whether can show his face or not. Let me cover first. Yeah, cannot cover. I'll miss later. All his friends looks like powerful kaki already, you see. 15 years old, look at the muscle. Drop chain. Okay, so he's not bong, he's just drop chain. Okay, sure.
Sure.
Okay. Okay, we can continue already.
This one penipu. I honest.
Right, no. The biggest scam ever. What he told you before you come?
Santai right. Easy 40k.
Then not bantai right?
Sometimes I see the average 20 only.
But plenty of climb.
Yes.
Bro, you got dropped by me, man. I come from Singapore. I mean, I come from Singapore, right? I don't even go on hills, but I dropped you. What happened?
It's the bike, man.
What bike were you riding the time? Was
The
it
Elf Quendi.
And what's wrong with that bike?
No OSPW, no DI2. Obviously.
So where's the OSBW here?
Very hard to find.
It's an extremely short cage, by the way.
Yeah. The older 11 speed generation DI2 is, they all come in short cage. So I'm trying to find a OSPW for this. But obviously
Seriously?
I cannot afford ceramic speed.
You know, maybe 10,000 subscribers giveaway, I will do a OSPW.
Well, it's gotta be an R9000 one.
Okay, so you were saying this is a Raceline Hyder 2020, right?
Yep, 2020.
What's the size?
It's a size 49S and it runs small for me, but I like to, as we Malaysians call it, main stem panjang. So we'll run a extra small frame or a small frame, maybe 1 or 2 sizes down, and run a really long stem.
So you say mine stem panjang, which means get with a very long stem, right?
Yes, play with a long stem.
So that's, I think most racers, they tend to size down and they go for a long stem, right?
Yes.
Is that very uncomfortable for you? Like, will you recommend it for people who just started riding?
No.
Okay.
I also don't recommending slamming your stem.
Do you regret slamming your stem?
No.
Okay.
In fact, this frame is small enough where I feel like I'll go with a 140mm stem.
How long is this?
120.
Okay. Do you go for a bike fit, or how do you know that?
My coach does my bike fit.
You're going to film your coach next, right?
Yeah.
The next episode will be your coach. Okay. And so how did he do the bike fit for you? Or just manual
He
looking at it?
uses lasers, gauges, and your bike on the trainer, that's all.
And do you think that's sufficient enough?
In most cases, yes. Ever since he fit me on this bike, I've never changed it. I haven't found any discomfort anywhere.
And how regular do you ride? Like
I
3-4
ride-
times and 200 Ks a week?
Now, not really much time to ride, but when I do, a good week is about 300k.
Oh shit. Mostly flats, or you mix it up?
Rolling mostly.
Okay. Okay, so back to the frame, Raceline Hyder. You said this was a very stiff frame.
Yes. Very.
Yay or nay?
Yay.
Yay? Okay. How much do you pay for this? How do you build up? Let's talk about the whole build up now.
Okay, so my frame's a Raceline Hyder 2020. I built it up with Dura Ace Di2.
And this is new, right? You just got it
I
recently.
just got it 3 days ago.
Can we talk about that? Like, you got it from Thailand.
Yeah, so my coach has a girlfriend in Thailand and he often goes back, so he found this pristine 9070 and he bought it for me and I got it. It's a steal.
It's an older one where you can see the junction box is still in the stem. The newer ones are
Yeah.
no longer there.
Yeah.
How do you find DI2? You were from mechanical, I'm assuming.
Yes.
Is DI2 the way to go?
Yes. If you can afford it, go for it.
Is it it's lighter or heavier than mechanical? Lighter.
When I changed, it became around 80 plus grams lighter. Just the Di2.
Right. So you said your coach got it from Thailand, right?
Yep.
How much was it, if you don't mind me asking?
I bought it for 4,800 ringgit.
But which year is this model?
This is, I'm not sure, but it's the first 11-speed Dura Ace.
Okay.
So I'd assume 2013 maybe.
But it's just as good, right, in today's, in 2022?
Yes.
Right. Okay, so that's on the group set that you recently got.
Yep.
What else do you have on?
I have, as for wheel set, is the Speedway Venom SLR.
Tell us more about this. Never heard of this brand.
I would count it as a high-end wheel set because it costs as much as a Zip 454.
Okay.
Or maybe 404 maybe.
China wheels, right?
Malaysian company, Chinese made.
Okay. How much are these wheels?
7,500 ringgit.
7,000, so that's about 2,000 plus Sing dollars, 3,000. Is it expensive or?
It runs pretty expensive for a China wheel set.
Right. Why did you decide on this and not some other wheels? I think Fulcrum should be quite okay, right? Like.
Yes, but my basic reason is it's using the DT Swiss 180 EXP hubs.
Oh, and how are those hubs?
Amazing.
Does hubs make a big difference in cycling?
In terms of weight, yes, and also the teeth in the hub make a big
The
difference.
engagement.
Yeah, the engagement.
Do you know how many engagement this one has?
32, I think.
Okay.
not
Should
sure.
sound very crisp, the
Yes.
EXP hubs. Okay, that's on a wheel set. What else do you have here?
Oh, I would
sorry,
like
it's a bit
to add-
drizzling by the way.
Yeah.
Drizzling, right? You can,
Slight.
but I think it's like just passing clouds.
Yeah.
It's okay. If it
Should
starts to
be
get
okay.
heavy, I think
Yeah.
you just run and okay. Yeah, sorry. What were we talking about? The wheel sets.
I would love to add on that another main reason I bought this is because of the spokes actually. It's the Sapim CX-Ray spokes, and these Sapim CX-Ray spokes allow your wheel to be tuned a lot stiffer because they have a higher tension. That's about it for the wheel set.
But I think some people mentioned that wheel sets nowadays should go carbon spokes, right? Like aluminium is so outdated, and wheels should have carbon spokes. What do you think of that? Like, do you think we should get carbon? Will carbon spokes make a difference?
Personal experience, no. But if you can afford it, get it, I guess.
Do you get to change the spokes, or it comes like that for this
It
wheel
comes
set?
like that, but you can request to custom build
Okay.
wheels.
Right. So that's on your wheel set. What else do you have? I see you have a XKD power meter.
Yes, XKD X power meter. I have the crank at 165 millimeters.
Okay. How are these power meters? XKD also another, like this is like a full entire China build up,
It's
right?
a China. The whole bike is a China build up, except for the group set.
Right. Well, there are a couple of China group sets like Sensa and stuff, but
Sorry, I do not trust it.
yeah, I don't think there are many people who have Sensa and Pius.
No.
Okay, so XKD works for you.
Yes,
It's pretty accurate.
rather accurate.
Okay, and you have Look Kyo pedals as well.
I regret
Oh, what's that? Why?
these, especially for the Look KO3. They have this problem that they develop over time where the spindle starts to creak when you ride. So every time I ride, it's like creak.
You're too powerful, lah. But do you think it's the problem of the pedals or it's something else?
No, it's the pedals.
Okay.
I swapped out for Shimano. I swapped out for Time to test it out to see if my frame is creaking, but no, it's the pedals.
So why are you still running this and just get new pedals?
Monetary issues.
Monitor issues.
Monetary.
Oh, monetary issues. Okay.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, your shoes are a bit of
Yeah.
special design.
Yes.
Tell us more. What happened? Why do you have like electrical tape over the shoes?
So I bought these shoes 4 months ago. It was almost pristine 4 months ago, but I use and abuse these shoes. In 4 months, I've done about 2,000 km on them. And finally, yesterday, my shoes gave out. They
What
split.
were you doing?
I was attacking the peloton.
Okay. And what? Just too much power and just split.
Yeah,
The glue isn't that great.
yeah, especially for this older model, the Sub 6 that came out maybe 5 years now.
And these shoes are the laced models, right?
Yes.
What do you think of lace? I don't like it because when I'm riding,
Don't.
right, I like to adjust my shoes. Sometimes
Yes.
it's a bit too loose or too tight.
Lace, it is inconsistent compared to BOA.
What do you mean? Like sometimes
Sometimes you tie tight, sometimes you tie loose, sometimes they get loose while you're riding.
and you kind of screw out your ride, right? Because you can't
Yes.
be taking it out and changing it.
Exactly, you can't be stopping. in
So
the middle of
you
the
don't
ride.
recommend.
No, don't go lace, go BOA all the way.
But some guys that I don't even think people in the peloton have laces. I'm not too sure.
Up till recently, yes, there were people, but now in the current, not sure.
Yeah, I generally prefer BOA dials. I'm not sure people agree with me. Like when you're riding,
BOA is the way to go.
Yeah. I mean, but I have friends who had the laced, and they kind of like it. But it might be contrary to what you said because sometimes the lace you can adjust the tightness
I
across
mean,
the shoe.
it depends on the type of rider you are. If you're a coffee rider, go ahead, lace all the way.
Looks cooler.
But if you're racing, then it's a whole different story.
Yeah. What shoes you planning to get next, man? Or are you gonna just use your?
I am thinking the Shimano RC9 02, DMT SH1, or the S-Works Van.
S-Works Van, that's the one that I have.
Yes.
Why these models? Is there a specific reason or just
I
purely
really
for
like
looks?
S-Works carbon soles. That's about it.
But I think the most stiffer shoes that I had was the Bond. Why wasn't Bond part of your consideration?
Price.
Is it really expensive here?
Really.
I think the
expensive.
S-Works Vans are quite expensive as well, right? Not
I
sure
mean,
about DMT and the rest.
if you can find a good deal, if you have the right relationships with bike shops, I think you can get.
Wow.
I've been offered a van for about 1,000 ringgit compared to the 1,006 that it normally goes for in bigger bike shops here.
So you have a good relationship with people here, lah.
Yes.
So my viewers want to get things can come through you, ah.
Can.
Okay, let's go back to the bike. What else did we miss out? The tires you're running,
I'm running Schwalbe Pro 1 tubeless tires.
these are 25.
25.
You know my question, why tubeless, not clinchers, and what's the pressure?
So depending on race, so let's say it's raining, I'm running 60 at the front, 65 at the back. Or if it's dry and we're riding flats, I'm running 85 front, 90 back.
And how do you determine the right tire pressure for you? And why that funny?
Just depends whether the road is wet, whether we are going downhill, winding roads, or is it a flat, straight out road. That's about it. It's pretty simple. Wet or winding, low tire pressure. Flat out, fast pace, high tire pressure.
High
That's
tire
all.
pressure, 120 bro, just like me, on clinchers.
To be honest, I don't feel a difference.
But 120 I think you burst out tubeless. Cause
Yes,
it's,
max is only 90 for tubeless.
but for the interest of my viewers who probably a bit newbie, right?
Yep.
How do you know the right, like where do you start? Like how do you know it's 90, not like maybe 100 or 80? I mean,
Body
it sounds
weight.
like a dumb question.
Body weight.
Okay, and you go online, there's some kind of calculator?
Yes.
Okay, which
More or less.
website?
For me, I just wing it.
You just try different and then you kind of
Yeah,
find the sweet
it's
spot.
just like, today I'm going to try this, today I'm going to try that. Over time, you find the right one.
Right, so 80, 85, that's the sweet one for you on dry roads.
80, 85, yes.
Okay, and Schwalbe Pro ones, how are the reviews of these tires?
Good, actually. In corners, it doesn't feel like you're going to lose your grip. They're pretty fast tires as well. But from personal experience, I'd still prefer the Vittoria Corsa speeds. But
tried-
those, for people my size, it punctures easily. Very easily.
Is it because it's like a racier tire?
Yes, it's a very thin tire.
Okay, have you tried the 5000? I'm like a hardcore GP 5000 and 4000.
I've tried the
S2.
STR and I really like the STRs. But I only bought Pro ones because they don't have stock for STR anywhere now. And even if you had the money to buy it, you can't buy it.
Would you stick to Schwalbe's or you know?
No,
you're gonna...
I would change back to the STR if I had the chance.
Okay, so that's still the better one.
Yes.
Okay, what else are we missing on? So let's talk about cockpit.
Cockpit.
So we talked about the stem was a 120, right?
Yep.
Aluminium, bro. Why aluminium so
Okay.
old school?
As a racer boy, I would believe in an aluminium cockpit because when you crash, you don't want to be investing another $1,000 or so into replacing a cockpit every time you crash. I've crashed this cockpit. This cockpit is from my old bike. I've crashed it over 6-7 times and only minor scratches. If I were to crash my carbon cockpit, like a picture of a track I've showed in the server before, it will end up
Join
like
my
that.
Discord.
Yes, join the Oompa Loompa Discord.
Okay, sorry. See, you're talking about carbon braking and stuff.
Yeah, it's very easy to break and you don't want to be having a reoccurring investment when you crash. So that's why I run aluminium.
And you were right because that's usually the first point of contact when you crash, right? Because
Yes,
these are
exactly.
wide open. The thing will hit
Especially
the
in a
same.
peloton, if your bars get stuck on someone else's bars and it falls on the bars, your bar's gone.
So have you tried carbon cockpits before?
Yes,
It
crashed
broke.
and it broke.
What carbon bars are those?
Fastboard.
China brand.
Yes.
But it
was
doesn't
on-
matter whether it's China or
yeah,
not China.
It was on
right?
this brake. It was on this bike.
Okay. So then from there you know that
I
you
was
know
like,
what
screw it, I'm changing back to aluminium.
And what bars are these? Pro light?
These are Pro Light, Super Light 400mm aluminium bars.
400 mm, but you've got your hoods tilted in.
Yes.
Do you believe in tilted hoods?
Yes.
It's what, more aero or just that?
Comfort. It's more of a comfort thing.
Okay.
Because when you have your hood straight, your wrists tend to bend inwards. And just like my TT bike, I used an excuse to get DI2 to not get arthritis. And if you're putting your hands like that on your hoods, it's definitely not healthy.
But I think if you were to go pro one day, right,
Yes.
UCI does not allow you to push in too much. I think Remco Evenepoel was the
Yes.
first guy who did this, and I think it was banned after that, isn't it? Like because of aero gains.
Yes.
Yeah. So
But that's where a proper bike fit comes in. And I'm supposed to be running a 36 or a 38.
okay. Have you
But-
considered moving in this just to 38 or 36?
Hard to find.
Yeah, I know. I run 38.
And it's going to be a pain in the ass
In
to
what
change
sense?
out my bar.
Why is it hard? Because yours is
Because I
not
drilled
integrated.
holes in my bar and I have cables running through my bar.
Let's talk about that. Just now I was asking you how come this is still not integrated and you can see the cables still run outside like that.
Because this frame is not meant to run integrated DI2.
Oh, okay. So how does the drilling process work? And you know, you say
So
drill holes.
basically, just like the Chinelli bike, the proprietary integrated headset routes the cable through the top of the steerer, But for me, since I was using a separate bar and stem, I needed to run the cable through the front. And they don't have a pre-drilled hole, so I drilled a hole.
By yourself?
My mechanic did it.
Is it advisable to drill holes into your...
if you can, avoid it.
Why does it just break the carbon construction of the frame?
Not really, it's just your risk is a bit higher. Although until now, I've crashed, I've hit potholes, I smacked into the back of a truck before. So far, it has not cracked at all.
Oh, you're a very dangerous rider, man. Okay, so then, but it looks very much more cleaner now that it runs like that. Okay.
It's a lot better than having cables dangling around.
So with aluminium cockpit, what is the weight of your bike now?
Now my bike is 7.9 kilos.
Wow, 7.9 kilos. I guess it's normal, right? For 8
Yes.
because it's on a disc.
7.9 to 8, I'm not sure.
Okay. There's a question, I think, if I recall, on the brake. These are very cool.
Yes.
Just talk about the brakes. I won't question. I'll go to Instagram later. We'll talk more about it.
Yep.
What brakes are these?
These
I've
are
seen these before in Singapore.
These are the Juintech F1 semi-hydraulic brakes.
What is semi-hydraulic?
So basically there's a reservoir and a pump, but that pump is actuated by cables. That means I can use a rim brake group set for a disc brake bike.
What is the reason you chose? You specifically chose this, or?
I specifically chose this because I didn't want to have the pain of course, bleeding my brakes every once in a while, or having my brake fluid boil, inevitably.
So it uses cables to brake,
To pull
on the brake pads, right?
No, to pull on a pump that then pushes fluid. So it's basically a hydraulic brake, but the pump is actuated by a cable.
We've got the pretty well-respected Juintech F1s here. Now, these are the most expensive ones that I've personally tried. I picked up this set of calipers for 120 quid, but I've seen them on AliExpress for around £100. So shop around and you can definitely find yourself a deal on these bad boys. Now, these are basically a hybrid hydraulic style. So when you pull the brake cable, you actuate this piston or plunger here, which drives hydraulic fluid around the caliper and pushes two other pistons, one in there and one in there, which pushes these green pads against the rotor. Now I've got a little shim in here, and if you can read that there, that says no rotor, do not press. And that's basically because if there wasn't this shim in here, or there wasn't a disc brake rotor in there, if you were to pull this piston, you could overextend those two other pistons there, and then that would end up spraying hydraulic juice everywhere. So you want to avoid that, but I'll quickly show you. So I'll pull this down and then watch those green pads. See both of those moving in there. So that's essentially how it functions. It's a closed hydraulic loop. And I mean, in theory, it's pretty much the same principle as a fully hydraulic setup, but rather than the piston being housed inside the shifter body, somewhere in there, they've located it kind of on the outside of the caliper here. So yeah, with these Juintechs, these are a hybrid hydraulic design.
So there's no hassle of having to bleed your brakes?
No, not at all.
But when you talk about the hydraulic, the reservoir, right? Do you have to top up oil on that, or?
It's a AIO system. It's an all-in-one system and maintenance-free practically.
Right. So what do you feel? Let me just press. Okay, it feels like the normal mechanical kind of brakes, because it's obviously.
Yes. But you have the power and the ability to do late braking, just like on a disc brake.
What do you mean?
So basically, on a rim brake, you have to brake quite early, obviously, but I'm Malaysian, so I like to go into corners and brake late. So that's why I like the feel of a rim brake group set, very on-off, but I would like the power and the modulation of a disc brake. So that's why I went for the Juintech.
Alright, so you get the best of both worlds, I guess.
Yes.
What do you think of disc? So what's your previous bike, a rim or?
Rim.
So now you're on disc. Best person to ask, you've owned both rim and disc. Most people in Singapore would have only owned disc. I might sound very biased by saying this, because I think most of the people that I interviewed came in during the COVID era, and most of them at that time only had disc brakes, right? The rim is very old school. You've owned rim and disc. Opinion on that?
In Singapore, I would say rim all the way. What's the point of having extra weight when you don't need it? But it depends on your personality. If you are the type of person to play it safe, brake early before a traffic light, or brake early before a corner, go for rim. There's no point getting a disc. But if you're like some people I know, or like myself, I like to brake late into corners. So this is definitely the way to go.
But I think if you were to get rim, obviously it will save much more weight. Is weight a
Definitely.
concern? Was it consideration for you buying this bike?
No,
Okay, weight was not a problem.
because face it, it's an aero bike. I ride flats. I don't really care.
Okay, let's move on. We've got more questions on IG on the brakes later. Anything else? Saddle, this is original or China specialized power?
China power. Actually, not really China. I'm not sure where the brand San Marco is from, but it's a San Marco power shaped saddle.
San Marco is in Italian.
Yeah.
I mean, it
and
sounds
it's-
Italian.
I'm pretty sure it's made in China, to be honest.
So this is original San Marco or not?
Original San Marco.
But it looks like the power. I'm not sure who copied who.
No, it's a San Marco saddle, branded, but it calls it the Power Gel.
Oh, okay. How do you feel about this? Short
Comfortable.
nose, right?
Yes.
Have you
It's
tried long nose
comfortable.
saddles?
Yes, and it was a nightmare.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
basically, power is the way to go.
Thoughts about 3D printed and would you recommend short or long nose? How does that work for riders?
Saddle is a very personal thing, but what I can say is first measure the width of your sit bones. That's the main point. Then from there you start to try saddles and see what works for you.
So this one, okay, measuring sit bones. So you go to the shop, they have some kind of
Not
fancy
really,
pad.
you can do it on your own. You get a piece of cardboard, you sit on it and make sure your sit bones indent. Then sit bone to sit bone, the dent, you measure it and then you roughly know the size. So if you're looking at a saddle, find the width of a saddle closest to that measurement of your sit bone. That's how I got my saddle.
Okay, and then so what is the width of this?
This is 140 something.
So is it accurate just doing it at home or is it?
Yes, pretty accurate.
pretty accurate.
I've been using this saddle since my fixie days.
Oh, okay. Dislikes about the bike or anything that you like to highlight about? Let's talk about frame specifically. I think people who are watching this
Yeah.
video want to talk about the frame. I think we've been talking too much about other
Dislikes,
things. How is Raceline though? Would people?
Brand snobs, they would not like it. Like in specific, there are some guys who didn't take it very nicely when I said it's basically a Chinelli.
Because the fact that it looks like a Chinelli, is
It
it?
looks like it's the same factory, same carbon layout, same mold.
But cheaper.
And Chinelli buys from the same factory anyways.
Right.
And gives it a paint job and sells it for $8,000.
I'm probably gonna get flamed by saying this, but probably looks like the SL6 and the Trifox that I recently the F16. Right?
Yes, but Trifox, when you put a camera inside to study the carbon, I highly doubt it's the same quality. But for this, I've put a camera inside the Chinelli and my own bike. Quality is very similar.
Very similar. Okay.
Yes.
Creaking issues or anything like that?
None.
Tolerances? All okay.
Tolerances, all okay. A-okay.
Okay. So we talked about the weight. What is price? Sorry, I think I mentioned it, but we didn't really say.
Okay, price. It may not
Your
look like
parents are
it.
not here, right? They don't know what's the price, right?
No, they know.
They know. Okay, they bought it for you.
Yeah.
Sponsored. Okay. Yeah, let's talk about price.
So the wheel set's 7,500, group set 4,800, and with the frame is 5,500 in ringgit. So total it comes up to about 22.2 grand, including the other bits and bobs like the power meter, saddle, and the cockpit. So 22-ish. I count it as 22 grand Malaysian ringgit.
For 22,000 Malaysian ringgit, what other bikes could you have gotten? Do you would you have gotten a different bike, a different setup, or you satisfied
No.
with this?
I'm satisfied.
Okay.
And it's an underdog bike, so it's cool.
For 22 grand, what can you buy here in Malaysia?
You could have bought a giant propel with rival ETAP.
Ooh.
And that's 17,000 and you have money to spare for a big, nice deep pair of carbon rails.
Will you get the giant propel? Are you talking about the new propel or the older one?
2020.
Okay, the older one.
Yeah, the 2020 propel. No. I think, in my personal opinion, the 2020 propel, or propel in general, is fugly.
I wanted to say it, but luckily it didn't come from my mouth.
It's a fugly bike.
Yeah, that one is. I just think the shape is a bit odd, man. It's just too sharp all over the place.
Another bike we can buy, which you would highly disagree, is a Venge Vias.
Oh god. you like the Venge Vias?
No.
Yeah, that is a fugly bike.
That is the pinnacle of ugly.
Sorry, then we were talking. What was the previous bike you were talking about?
The Alps Conde.
No. You said the propel, right?
Yes.
So fugly bike. What do you think of the new one? The new one looks nice. I think that
The
one.
new one is Sexy.
Yeah, but that one isn't as aero as the old one. It looks
Yes,
like they're all trying to go into like one bike rules them all kind of thing. already.
SL7 type B.
Yeah. Don't know how much that's at. It's not even out yet, right?
No, not yet.
But that one looks kind of nice. Am I missing anything, or we've spoken about everything? Anything?
Computer, lights.
Yeah. Well, let's go ahead.
I'm using a Magic Shine RN600 light and a basic Garmin 530, H530 computer.
What about you don't run real lights?
Nope.
Why?
I ride daytime and I ride in peloton at night, and lights are just too heavy. I mean, most of the time I don't even ride with a front light
So why do you have a front light now?
because I put it in a list.
Okay, yeah. So normally you don't run lights when you ride?
Me and my friends, we normally ride what we call ride naked. No spares, no nothing. Just us and the bike and bottle.
But that's because you guys do, I think, rather short loop. If anything goes wrong, you can just.
I mean, we've done it for 120 km ride before. Naked, no lights, no nothing, one bottle.
I wouldn't recommend to people who are doing that.
Yes, don't.
Yeah, I mean, if you were to get screwed midway, you need some kind of
Yes.
backup, man.
But for rides more than a century, I do carry a pouch back here. And
That's fugly.
Fugly.
Not arrow.
Not arrow at all.
But
But
I always tell people, why can't you shove it in your back pocket?
no.
Why not? It's
My
part of the
jersey is tiny. It's a race cut jersey.
Yeah.
Even then, you're losing your aero gains. So it's either you lose it in your jersey or you lose it on your bike.
True. I used to run back pouches, but I think it's very ugly, man.
It's not really a back pouch. It's a pouch that sits flat with the saddle here.
Okay, but you can't put much things, right? What do you carry?
I don't need to put much. I have 2 CO2 cartridges, tire levers, patch, and a CO2 inflator. That's all.
But you have a tubeless. Can you use CO2 on tubeless?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes, you can. But once you do, you have to deflate it and fill it up with normal air. Otherwise, it will fuck up the sealant.
Because it's CO2.
Oh shit, I just caved.
It's okay. Because it's CO2, right?
Yeah.
Oh my god, 30 minutes.
Oh wow.
Okay, is the camera still rolling? Okay, camera's still rolling. Okay, the interesting part, you ready? Let me get the questions. You okay? You want to take a break or?
Nah, I'm good.
Good to go. I was scared of the rain just now, like I thought the rain was coming. Instagram Q&A, if you guys want to submit your questions, you can follow me on Instagram and you get the chance to ask your IG questions. You ready?
Yes, I'm ready for the roast.
Okay, so just now I just told you about the cable actuated cable. So the question the guy asked, what if the cable actuated disc brakes? That's his question. I know you already spoke about that. Anything else you want to talk about that?
If it works, it works. And it works for my purpose. So that's about it. I don't see the point in investing like 2,000 ringgit in hydraulic shifters and having the pain of bleeding or having the risk of your hydraulic fluid boiling and losing brake power. So this is a low risk, low maintenance and low initial investment solution to that.
How much are these brakes?
For the set without rotors is about 600.
Ringgit?
Yes,
About 200
ringgit.
Sing dollars. That's quite okay.
Really cheap.
Will you ever go for the... I know you said the dislikes about the actual
Yes.
hydraulic disc brakes, but will you ever try that? I feel the modulation on that's good because of
Modulation on that is definitely better, but there is still a good amount of modulation on this. So if I have the money, I would go for it, but I wouldn't do what I normally do on it.
Sorry, what's happening?
Shh. Shh.
You can hear?
Yeah.
Okay. How's the XKD power meter and crank? Does it shift well?
Very well, actually.
It's an XKD crank as well, right?
The crankset is XKD, yes, and the chainring is as well.
How do you get XKD? From the shop that sells them, or you just buy them direct from the website?
No, I buy it from the sole distributor of XKD in Malaysia is DaVinci Cycle Hub.
DaVinci Cycle Hub is somewhere in Puchong, right? Puchong.
Yes, Bandar Kinara 5, Puchong.
Why not a Pardus? You have a Pardus TT.
Yes, I do.
Why did you get a Pardus bike?
I couldn't afford it.
How expensive are those bikes?
Their top of the line aero frame is 9,500 ringgit.
Oh, with what group set?
No, just frame.
Holy shit, 9.5k for a frame.
Ah yeah,
That's expensive, right?
expensive.
But
It's the same price as Propel
yeah.
frame.
But
The,
when
the
people-
new current Propel.
But you say it's a funky bike, so would you rather go for the Pardus, or because of brand you go for the Giant?
I would go for the Pardus any day.
Really?
But the problem with that frame is a SRAM frame, so it only comes in black and red. And the other colors like midnight purple are hardly in stock.
The guy that we're filming tomorrow, your coach, what Pardus is he getting?
He's
Robin,
riding
right?
the Pardus Robin SL,
Okay, that's the highest
Campagnolo
one?
edition.
Highest in, right?
No. The highest end is the Super EVO coming out end of this year.
Oh wow, okay.
It's a 60,000 ringgit bike.
What? Why? Is it because of the group size it's expensive?
The ride is 12 speed, and the frame itself I think is 15, I think.
But how are these guys going to compete with the major manufacturers, right? You're selling a bike for 15,000 ringgit and compare with, Vengers, sorry, not Venge, probably some other specialized bike.
It's gonna be a podium bike. Like in the upcoming LTDR, the Tour de Langkawi, 2 continental teams are riding the Super EVO and the Robin EVO.
Right. Do you see a lot of those Pardus bikes here in Malaysia?
Oh, definitely.
Really?
A lot.
And Da Vinci is the main...
Da Vinci is the sole distributor of Pardus.
Okay. Watch my vlog. I had a vlog on Da Vinci and that's the first time I met you.
Yep.
How are the 180 hubs? Does it run smooth?
Really smooth. I'd say smoother than a baby's bottom.
What about, okay, my question, what about ceramic hubs? Do you think ceramic bearings make differences?
The only difference is it's higher maintenance to me. I don't feel it. But I'd say if you don't mind the maintenance, go for it.
What kind of maintenance do you think comes with
Ceramic hubs are... You have to service them more often rather than sealed bearings. So sealed bearings is you can use and abuse, but ceramic bearings you actually have to take care of it, just like a ceramic BB.
I have ceramic, but I don't even know when's the last time I serviced it. I did it at home, but I'm not sure if I did it right.
It's okay, as long as you clean it, you re-lube it, it should be alright.
Yeah. Will you get ceramic bearings then?
Once my Shimano bearing goes out, I'm planning to get a Kogel.
Kogel BB
Yes.
with ceramic
Yes.
bearing.
Kogel ceramic BB.
If Hamini watches this, he's gonna roast you, man. He's gonna.
Hi Hamidi.
He will tell you ceramic bearings is a waste of money and time.
Well, it's my money. I do what I want with it. Simple.
What? Sorry, this probably I'm not sure if I'm gonna put this on camera. But what's ICANN A22?
I can eat it.
The guy asked, is the frame actually a rebranded ICAN? I think ICANN.
Oh,
A22?
it's a brand.
Is it?
I've never heard of it.
Okay.
No. It's... I don't want to say it's a rebranded Chinelli.
Yeah, but you just said it just now.
It's a Chinelli.
Okay. ICANN A22, I probably need to research about it. I'm not sure what it is.
Me neither.
Oh, this is a bit of a roast. I know that this seems to be the lower end of weight, but seems heavy compared with a rim. Why disc?
As I mentioned before, my use case is extremely different. Late braking into corners, late braking anywhere actually.
So if you are kind of guy who likes late braking, go for disc.
Yes.
So this is more superior, obviously, in terms of the
Braking power and modulation. But if you play safe and brake early, rim brake is the way to go, definitely. Well, I used to play safe and brake early, that's why I had a rim brake, but I decided to get a bit more ballsy with my rides and yeah.
Okay. Not sure if you know this guy, Iron Ben.
No.
No?
Oh wait, Iron Ben.
Yeah, you know him?
Yeah, Ben.
Oh, okay. His question is this bike sponsored? Since you talk so highly about Da Vinci, this bike, did you get a discount? That was
No,
his question.
actually.
Okay, you paid full price for it?
For both my bikes, I've paid full price. It's just that I've paid installment.
So it's not sponsored, but
No.
Your friend Cheng Hao, your online friend on my Discord.
This guy.
No, he didn't say anything. He said rider very hot. You know in Singapore, I like to do that effect. You want to do it?
What effect?
They do that. Then I zoom in and then I put that flowery effect. Okay. Serious question on the wheels. Expensive wheels, 7,000 ringgit, right?
Yep.
Why don't these manufacturers, Speedave, have a proper website?
That's because the boss of our bike shop, Da Vinci, is the founder of Speedave and he doesn't see a need to have an online website for it.
But how people overseas wanting to buy it, or his market is just now?
Our target market is not overseas. Our target market is the Malaysian market and people who can, because it's a really high performance wheel that is rather affordable. Because if, let's say we were to have this same spec, same design, everything, but rebranded as Zip, you'll be paying easily 10 grand for it. So that's why our target is the Malaysian market.
Right. Maybe next time if they find this very popular, they might have a legit website and
Yes,
expand
definitely.
website outside. You know Han Xiang, right?
Yes, Han Xiang.
Also another of your Singapore pen pal, online pen pal in Singapore.
Yes.
This question to you, he submitted a lot of questions. So I'm just gonna pick up one, okay? Tubular or tubeless?
Tubeless.
Tell us more about tubular. What is tubular? I mean,
Tubular is a tire that you have to glue to the rim, unfortunately. It's basically tubeless, but a lot harder to maintain.
But usually the pros go for tubular because it's lighter, right?
Yes,
In effect.
but I'm not a pro. And I do my own bike maintenance, so to take off a tubular tire, patch it, put it back on, it's not worth my time. And it's not worth the price.
And if you get a puncture, you're screwed.
Yeah, basically yes.
Because it's glued onto the rim, right? And
Yes.
there's no way you don't have a support car. Last question. Not question, but our buddy here also maybe could be your pen pal. You know Josh? Josh on
the
Discord.
one in the server.
Yeah. He wants to congratulate you on your Langkawi podium.
Oh, thank you, Josh.
How was the race in Langkawi?
Really, nice. It's a really nice race. Very scenic, but you don't have time to enjoy it.
Because you're
yeah.
always racing in the peloton.
Yeah, it's a rolling course, about 60 km with 400 meters of elevation. It's a very fast pace. The peloton rolling speed 45, 46. And going down the hill, the twisties, in a peloton we are riding about 61, 62. So, high risk race, a lot of sand on the corners going down, but that's why I have disc brakes.
Yeah. Tell us more about racing, right? What are some key tips? I've never raced. You know, I talk so much
Key
shit on
tips?
YouTube, right? But I've never
Yeah.
really actually raced.
Not really a question for me, but I think it would be better to ask people like him.
Oh, your friend is behind the camera. You race for YB. What's the name of the Garcia, right? Wow, next time he wanted to get on my show, but I just don't have the time. Next time. Okay, anything else you would like to talk about? If not, we are 40 minutes in, man. You gonna film you riding here?
That's about it, I guess. Oh,
Yeah.
free up sound check.
Yeah, we'll do the Freehub sound check. Last chance, man, to
Oh, fuck me.
why?
I just got shat on. No! I think that's about it. I gotta go watch my. No!
Last chance, nothing, right?
Searching all night, can't seem to focus this double sight. This is a tale sworn in a sight.